Okay, this is my negative rebuttal to Kaley's affirmative rebuttal. Alright, so essentially Kaley's last video was just addressing some of the refutation that I made in my original negative. So I just like to go back and go over some of the topics that she pointed out so that way we can just clarify where each other stands on this stuff on this point. Kaley was talking about how No Child Left Behind is, just one of the first actions, and then it's kind of just like one of the first actions that was implemented so that way we can try and improve something. And she was saying how doing something is better than doing nothing, and she essentially stated that if we get rid of it, that there would be nothing, and that there would be no way of improving at all. And to me, that doesn't make sense. Simply getting rid of No Child Left Behind does not result in having no other alternative and just completely leaving us void of any hope for improvement for the educational system. I don't see that. I don't see that happening whatsoever. There are other solutions that have been suggested and are implemented, and an example of this is Common Core. Common Core isn't No Child Left Behind, and it is being implemented in many places right now, and that's hopefully one way that the educational system is going to be improved. You can't say that just because No Child Left Behind gets removed or abolished that there's not going to be any other opportunities for people to hold. Also, another thing that Kaley was talking about was that students in schools with lower income have the ability to change. Their school isn't discriminating. She was saying how No Child Left Behind isn't being unfair. It's actually doing the opposite, and how people are born into different classes and they have different abilities, and No Child Left Behind is trying to fix that. And I agree that maybe the intent behind No Child Left Behind's actions and their ideas are good, but I feel like the application of them is wrong. It doesn't go along and correlate with that. Because Kaley was saying how low-income students are eligible after 3 years of, the school essentially just not meeting the standards that No Child Left Behind sets. So after 3 years of the school not meeting the standards or not really helping the students progress, then those low-income students are eligible for after-school services, tutoring, and summer school. However, other students, after 2 years of these school systems not meeting those standards, are automatically provided public transportation to transfer to new schools. My problem with that is the fact that to me does not seem fair. The attempt to make all of the students on the same level is there, and that is clear. That's great. But nevertheless, the actual application of it is not very strong, nor is it equal. The students that are already in lucky circumstances are able to leave after 2 years, and their less affluent counterparts are merely eligible after waiting for 3 years. The classes, as Kaley referred to them, are not provided the same treatment and opportunities. So there's just a ratio between the students that have the opportunity to go ahead and just propel themselves forward as opposed to those who just have to sit and wait and hopefully just see what's going to happen. And the ratio between time of that happening is poor as well. The students that are already in better living areas and school systems based on their location are already automatically just offered this opportunity as opposed to those who are less affluent. They're just sitting there and they're just waiting essentially for their opportunity. And the ratio of the amount of students that are able to go and to those that aren't able to go and those that probably would need it more is off. So that's something I think that would need to be addressed and would need to be fixed before we actually talking about continuing No Child Left Behind. Another thing that Haley talked about was money. She said that we've placed millions of dollars on Obamacare website, and she was just saying that we should use that on schools, but honestly, I don't even think the fact that Obamacare came into this discussion is relevant. We're not really talking about medical health care, but rather education. I mean, the money that was funded for Obamacare was already funded, so it's too late. It's like a moot point. You can't really take money from Obamacare in order to fund No Child Left Behind. That's not going to end up happening, and not unless you really want to lead into another government shutdown. I don't see that really occurring. And also, the No Child Left Behind Act of 2001 has been in effect for long enough. According to PBS.org, it was signed into effect on January 8th, 2002. So it's definitely run its course by now, and I'm sure it's used up its fair share of money. Whether or not you want to compare that directly to the amount of money that Obamacare has spent on its websites or in general what it's trying to achieve, I think that No Child Left Behind has probably used up the amount of money that it should have by now. And essentially just No Child Left Behind, I think it's time. It's been over 10 years now. It's time for us to try a new solution, not just trying to stick with the past and what's been going on. No Child Left Behind is not necessarily the solution to solving the problem that the government has with education. Education should be reformed, but No Child Left Behind is not the solution.